Everybody, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick video about something I've been trying out for the last few days. So hopefully you can see the cameras. It's one of those another one-handed videos. Apologize in advance. So here we have my Miix 700 in portrait mode. Miix 700 is a great tablet because it's really low price. It's got a Core M. You can get it with 8 gigs and of RAM, and it's got a SSD slot you can get to. And it's great because it uses a panel that allows you to use Wacom AES pens. In this case, this Lenovo's Pen Pro Wacom AES pen. Even though the Wacom doesn't make the actual touch panel, it is compatible with Wacom pens, which is one of the reasons I think why it's so much cheaper than other AES devices. Anyways, the pen action is pretty good. It's very good actually, and it's one of my favorite things to draw on. But because it doesn't have Wacom's own digitizer, they won't let you install their WinTab driver, which is important if you want to map things like the. Let me see if you can see it. But there's these pens have barrel buttons. I usually map undo to one of them and tab to the other, so when I'm doing something without a keyboard, which is often, that I can just tap that and at least get to the menu quickly, but have a very clean canvas. So for instance, this is my favorite app to draw on, which is Clip Studio Paint. I hope the camera can focus on that. So, I usually draw in this mode. In fact, I usually go in here and minimize the UI, so it's mostly, canvas. I got a lot of space to draw, right? But if I have to switch tools or whatnot, then usually with the other AES devices I have, I have tab map to this button. So click that and tab pops out, and I can switch and tab again and get rid of it, and so I keep going and undo, which I do a lot when I draw. I have mapped to the other button, but obviously here I can't because it's an Elan panel, which won't allow you to install Wacom driver, which means you can't have the Wacom pen utility. So you're kind of stuck with this experience, which is why a while back I invested $100 into this thing, which is the Wacom Expresskey Remote, right? This is their Express keys from their Cintiq line, sort of as a separate device. They started doing this with the Cintiq 27QHD. 24HD had, on the side of their Cintiqs, they had buttons mapped. That's why it had a huge bezel. 27QHD had the same sort of footprint as 24, but they got rid of reduced the size of the bezel and moved everything to this, which can be sort of placed anywhere or held in hand. So it was a better solution for them. It uses this USB dongle. Actually, it's even though you think it's built into the 27QHD, it's not. It's actually, this dongle is hidden somewhere. I think it's in the back of the 27QHD. So if you pop this out, you can take this to another computer, stick it in, which I bought this $100 separately, sold separately, for the Miix 700, so I can, I had this in one of the 2 USB ports, which is great because, Surface Pro at 4 only has 1. So this is another great thing about Miix 700. So I would put that in there and use this to get to all the keys, which, there's a lot of buttons here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's I think 17 buttons with also a wheel, right? But I noticed something recently when I was using it, that the pen felt a little laggier than usual, right? Because usually, it's really smooth experience. There, if the brush size gets really big, it will lag a little bit, but it'll still do what you told it to do. So if I do a really complex line, it'll do all the subtleties of that line, just do it slower. But with this thing, which requires, by the way, the Pro Cintiq driver to work. So I had Cintiq driver on this machine, even though it doesn't use that for pen, just for this, right? That seems to interfere with the Microsoft's built-in pen driver that makes this pen work, right? I mean, I can't prove that 100%, but what I did was I then went to Windows 10 Utility for recovery and just reset everything so it's like a fresh install state. So it got rid of all the programs and whatnot. And then I reinstalled the Clip Studio Paint from scratch, and then it's back to its smooth, fast self, right? So, you know, it's pretty decent evidence, I think, that this might be the cause of it, or at least the driver that requires this. And I can't have that. Just that I'm not gonna deal with that kind of lag. So I'm probably gonna sell this because I just can't, you know, have that kind of compromise just to have keyboard shortcuts. By the way, as an aside, this little dongle that makes this work, don't ever lose this because it's mated to each remote. Right? You can't just buy a replacement dongle and have it work. If you lose this, you're screwed. You're truly screwed. So just FYI. Okay. Anyway, back to this. So I needed a solution, and a lot of people use those on-screen keyboard solutions, right? Which, you know, to me is not. Look, it's a 12-inch screen, which I sort of think is a minimum size to do a comfortable drawing and decent drawing for me. And I'm just not gonna waste. Look, I'm drawing like this, you know. I'm minimizing everything and getting rid of all the UI with tab. I'm not gonna waste all that valuable real estate with like a little thing that pops up and no. So I didn't want that either. I didn't want the software key solutions, right? I needed something tactile, anyways, right? So this is the setup I've been trying. So as you can see here. This is an Xbox One controller. I have an Xbox One, so I didn't have to buy it. And you know, great thing about these game controllers is they're very ergonomic. So they're meant to be held in a certain way, right? You don't have to look at the controller to know which button is where. That's the nature of how they're designed, right? Something like this, you can kind of remember, and they try to sort of compensate. I don't know if you can see. There's a little divots and stuff. Like, oh, that divot is that button. You're not gonna remember all that shit. You know, it's really by position you're gonna remember stuff. So, yeah, they try to sort of do it, yeah, that way. But there's too many buttons, and it's not really something that you're gonna go, oh yeah, it's there. That's undo. That's tap. It's really hard to do it with this. Not very ergonomic, right? Very ergonomic. So that's an advantage there, and also you know, with an app, this is an app, free app called Focus, called AntiMicro. Seems to be pretty efficient, doesn't really hamper anything, and it's free, which is great, and you know, it's not a malware, as far as I can tell. So basically, when you want to use the app, you have to launch it. So when you reboot a computer and try to use the thing without launching this, it won't work. So right now, I have a keyboard. I'm sorry, a start menu shortcut. All right, that's what it looks like. AntiMicro. It's a little controller symbol, right? It's really meant for gaming. You know, they allow you to use, instead of a keyboard for WASD, you know, WSAD. Action in the mouse, you can use like controllers with it. That's what it's meant for. But I'm hijacking it for this drawing purpose. So for instance, when you hide it, let me see. There we go. When you minimize it, it goes into the tray here. Come on, focus. Jesus. Okay, right. Let's just say focus. It's right there. Ugh. Yeah, camera phones. So, yeah, whatever. So it's out of the way. It's very efficient. One thing it won't do though. I need it back here. Hold on. Geez. Okay, stop that. Okay, I use the controller. I use that. Bam. Okay. So the you need to map each button, obviously, and that's pretty straightforward. And you can actually push the button, and it'll tell you which button that is quickly, which is nice. For instance, I have left trigger as control. By the way, one of the things this app won't do is macros. So if you have combination presses, it won't do. You have to map individually. So I have control map to the trigger. I have the entire stick mapped to Z. If you go in here, it's mapped to Z. Okay, and I have the same thing for the right stick with Y. I got brackets for so B and X are brackets, as well as the D-pads. So I got brackets here, E for here, which is great for Photoshop and Clip Studio because E is eraser. Now you can actually hold down the button and erase and let go and go back to the previous brush, which is fantastic. I can't really demo that here because I'm using one hand for the camera here, my phone camera. So, but just trust me, the layout's really nice, and it's really ergonomic. So I can do it all by feel, right? I don't have to look at the controller to know that that's a tab and that's control. That's undo, right? I can even redo. It's a bit of a stretch, but I don't really use redo all the time. It's usually undo, so I have it met to this side. But it's not crazy to just bring the other drawing hand while holding the pen to, access the stuff on the right side. Here. So I got. Oh wait. I got eraser right now, so let me go to, okay. So I got brush about that thick. It's too thick, so I just go here and go click, 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 click. It's thinner. You get the idea. And you can even do things like I'm holding down eraser with the D-pad and use this to make the I don't know if you see the cursor there, but make it bigger and smaller. Yeah, you can't see the cursor in the videos too. But it's really nice to be able to do that without going into the menus or anything. So this solution, I think, is far superior to using software buttons. And it's kind of bulky to travel around, and if you don't like wired, this app also works with Bluetooth. And also you don't have to stick to Microsoft stuff. The PS3 to PS4 controllers work fine. Although if you want to use the Bluetooth on those, I think they don't really play well with the Microsoft Bluetooth stack in Windows 10. So you would have to get a dongle. You have to get like a Bluetooth dongle to use those controllers if you want to use wirelessly. Wired, I think you just plug it in and it recognizes it and it's all fine. If you want to travel lightly and you don't want controllers, you can also buy a bunch of Bluetooth one-handed controllers for like VR purposes. I ordered it on Amazon and it'll get here in a few days, and I might do another video. But that is almost like a half of a controller, so it's got a stick, bunch of buttons, triggers. So I might be able to do most of what I'm doing right now with that sort of one-handed controller, which is a Bluetooth controller I ordered off the Amazon for like $15 or something. So I'm pretty happy with this. So no need to, if you got a Miix 700 or any of those non-Wacom panel things. Surface Pro, great example, because they don't even let you map anyways. They don't have a utility like that. So if you're thinking about buying this, I would, it's $100 too, and it's for $100 I'm not really happy with it, right? So screw all that. Just either get a controller, or you probably already have a game controller, or buy one that's smaller and cheap and Bluetooth off Amazon or whatever, and just use this app called AntiMicro. It's fantastic. It's free. It's efficient. It works, and you can, do everything's clean UI with tactile controls, which is way better than those hunting and packing software buttons any day of the week. Okay, thanks for watching another video. See you next time.